Don't let the fire go out. We built the campfire just before sunset. 4 of us, deep in the forest. No signal. No nearby trails. The kind of place where the trees grow too close together, like they're listening. By the time the sky went dark, the fire was our only light. That's when Evan started telling the story. Rule 1, he said, staring into the flames. Never let the fire go out.
We laughed. Every campfire story starts like that. Evan shook his head. I'm serious. This forest doesn't like the dark. I asked him what he meant. He poked the fire, sending sparks upward. Things out here don't move unless they're invited, he said. Darkness is an invitation. The sounds of the forest shifted as night settled in.
Crickets stopped all at once. Leaves rustled without wind. Something snapped a branch far away. Too heavy to be a deer. Maya pulled her jacket tighter. So, what happens if the fire dies? She asked. Evan didn't answer right away. When the fire goes out, he said slowly, something gets close enough to count you. We waited for the punchline. It didn't come.
Around 11:40 p.m., the fire dipped low. Not out, just weak. That's when we heard footsteps. Slow, deliberate, not circling, approaching.
Bear, Jake whispered. Evan grabbed another log and tossed it in. The flames flared. The footsteps stopped instantly, like someone freezing mid-step. We didn't talk after that. We just stared into the fire. Every time it cracked or popped, my shoulders tensed. I realized something unsettling. The forest wasn't loud anymore. It was waiting. At 12:12 a.m., Maya noticed something. There are more shadows, she said. She was right. The firelight used to throw our shadows behind us. Now there were shapes moving between the trees. Too tall, too thin. They didn't move like animals. They leaned. Evan spoke again, quieter now. Rule 2, he said. If you hear your name from the dark, don't answer. Almost on cue, a voice came from beyond the firelight. Soft, familiar. Jake. Jake's head snapped up. That sounded like my sister, he said. The voice came again. Closer. Jake, come help me. Evan grabbed Jake's arm hard enough to hurt. No, Evan hissed. That's how it measures distance. The fire shrank. Not fast, just enough. Like it was being starved. I threw another log in. The flames fought, then settled. That's when we saw it.
across the fire, between the trees. A shape crouching low, watching us through the flames. Its eyes reflected the firelight wrong. Too many points of light.
Like it was smiling with its eyes. Maya whispered, "How many of them are there?" Evan swallowed. "Doesn't matter," he said. "There's only one close enough to talk." The voice returned. This time, it said my name. Perfectly. My throat tightened. The thing in the trees leaned forward. The fire cracked. One log collapsed inward. The flames dipped. For half a second, darkness touched the edge of the circle. Everything moved at once. The shadows rushed closer.
Not running. Gliding. Closing the gap the fire no longer held. "Don't let it go out!" Evan shouted. We fed the fire everything. Logs, branches, our spare gear. The flames roared back to life. The forest recoiled. The shadows snapped backward, like they'd hit an invisible wall. The voice screamed. Not in pain, in frustration. We stayed awake all night, feeding the fire, watching the trees. At dawn, the forest sounds slowly returned. Birds. Wind. Normal noise. The shadows were gone. The voice never came back. We packed up in silence. No one joked. No one looked too far into the woods. As we left, I noticed something carved into a tree near the clearing. Old. Deep. A warning. Keep it lit, or it learns your face. Weeks later, I still smell smoke when I'm alone at night. Sometimes, when my lights flicker, I swear I hear a familiar voice in the dark, asking if I remembered the rules.
The woods don't like empty circles. We didn't plan to stay overnight. That was the mistake. The trail was longer than the map suggested, and by the time the sun dipped behind the trees, the forest had already decided we weren't leaving. So we built a fire. A small one. Just enough to mark our place. A circle of light in a forest that suddenly felt very interested in us.
There were 5 of us. Too many to be quiet. Too few to feel safe. As the fire settled, the woods changed. Not loudly, subtly. The wind stopped moving through the branches. Insects went silent one by one, like something had asked them to stop. Forests aren't supposed to do that, Liam said. No one disagreed. About an hour in, Nora noticed the first thing wrong. Our shadows, she said. They were all pointing inward, toward the fire. That's not how light works. I stood up and walked to the edge of the clearing. The darkness beyond the firelight felt thick. Not empty. Occupied. When I took one more step, Liam grabbed my backpack. "Don't break the circle," he said. I asked him why. He didn't answer. The fire popped. A log shifted. The circle flickered.
And something moved just beyond the light. Not fast. Careful. Like it was respecting a boundary. Nora whispered, "Is someone else camping out there?" No one responded. Because the answer was obvious. If they were other people, they would have spoken. That's when the counting started. A voice came from the trees. Low. Dry. Almost tired. 1. We froze.
2. The voice wasn't coming closer. It was circling. Just outside the firelight. "Don't answer," Liam whispered. "It only counts what responds." 3. My heartbeat felt too loud. Nora's phone buzzed. She gasped and dropped it. The screen was lit. No signal. No bars. Just a notes app, open on its own. A single line appeared. "One of you is extra." 4. The fire dipped again. The circle thinned. The shadows leaned inward. I grabbed another branch and fed the flames. The fire resisted, then grew. The voice stopped counting. For a moment, everything was still. Then the voice spoke again. Calmer now. Wrong. We didn't notice Liam step backward. Not at first. He was staring into the dark, like someone had just said his name in a familiar voice. "Nora?" he asked softly. She turned. "No, don't." Too late. Liam stepped past the edge of the firelight. The darkness folded around him. Not swallowed. Accepted. The fire flared violently. The woods screamed. Every tree around us creaked at once. Then, silence. There were 4 of us left. The fire burned brighter than before. Too bright. Like it was compensating. Nora started crying. Her phone buzzed again. Another note. Correction made. Circle balanced. We stayed until morning. No one slept. No one spoke. When the sun finally rose, the forest looked normal again. Birds. Wind. Light between the trees. But the clearing felt wrong. Smaller. As we packed up, I noticed footprints around the fire pit.
Not animal. Bear. Too many toes.
All of them facing inward. At the edge of the clearing, carved into the dirt, were words written over and over. Like practice. Like learning. No empty circles. No extra names. We never hike together anymore. Sometimes, late at night, I count my friends in my head. Slowly. Carefully. Because every once in a while,
I realize I'm counting one more than I remember.
The summit is not the end. We started the hike just before dawn. 4 of us. Headlamps on. Breath fogging in the cold air. The mountain was known for its views. People said if you reached the summit at sunrise, you could see 3 valleys at once. What they didn't talk about was how quiet the forest becomes once you start going up. The trailhead sign was old.
Most of the paint had peeled away, but one sentence was still readable. Stay on the marked path. Someone had carved words underneath it. The mountain counts detours. We laughed. Nervous laughter, but still laughter. Then we stepped into the trees. At first, the forest felt normal. Birds calling, leaves crunching under our boots, the steady rhythm of walking.
But after about 30 minutes, the sounds thinned out. Not stopped, filtered. Like the mountain was deciding which noises were allowed to reach us. Around 1,200 meters, the trail split. The map said the left path was correct. The right path was narrower, darker, worn down like it was used more often. Someone had stacked small stones at its entrance. Not a marker, a warning.
Shortcut? Ben asked. Mara checked her GPS. No signal, she said. Let's just stick to the map. We took the left path. Behind us, something moved in the trees. Slow, unbothered by our decision. As we climbed higher, the forest changed. The trees grew thinner, taller. Their branches twisted inward over the trail, like ribs. The air felt heavier, even though we were gaining altitude.
every breath sounded too loud. At 2,000 meters, we noticed the first mistake. Our footsteps didn't echo the same way anymore. Sometimes we heard them twice. Sometimes, not at all. "Stop," I said. Everyone froze. There was a fifth set of footsteps. Out of sync. Just slightly delayed. Like it was learning our pace. We stood there, listening. The extra footsteps stopped too.
Whatever it was, it knew when to be still. We kept going. No one suggested turning back. The trail narrowed until we had to walk single file. At one point, I glanced behind me. The forest had closed in. The path behind us looked nothing like the one ahead. Steeper. Longer. Wrong. Near 2,600 meters, we reached a flat clearing. Too flat. Too round. A perfect circle of bare ground. No trees. No plants. Just dirt. In the center was a pile of old hiking gear. Backpacks. Boots. A torn jacket with a name stitched into it. None of us said it out loud, but we all understood. People didn't make it back down. Mara's GPS flickered to life. Not a map. Just text. Altitude accepted. Continue up. She dropped the device. From there on, the trail stopped pretending.
The markers disappeared. The path went straight up. No switchbacks. No easing. Like the mountain wanted effort. Wanted strain. Then started lagging behind. Not tired, distracted. He kept looking up. "Do you hear that?" he asked. We didn't. But he nodded anyway. "Yeah," he said quietly. "Me too." At 3,000 meters, the trees vanished. Only rock and wind remained.
The summit was visible now. So close. So sharp against the sky. That's when we noticed the figures. Standing near the top. Perfectly still. Watching. "They're hikers," Mara said, too quickly. They didn't wave. Didn't move. They stood in a loose line. Like they were waiting for something to arrive. As we climbed, one of the figures stepped aside, making room. Ben stopped.
"I think," he said slowly, "I've already been here." We turned to him. His eyes were unfocused. "The view," he continued. "I remember the view." He took one step forward, then another. Straight toward the summit. Toward the waiting shapes. Mara grabbed his arm. The wind screamed. Not loudly. Angrily. The figures shifted. Closer now. Too many joints. Bending the wrong way.
"Let him go," a voice said. "Not from the summit. From the ground beneath our feet. You can't bring everyone back." The mountain vibrated. Ben pulled free. He didn't scream. He smiled and kept walking. When he reached the summit, one of the figures stepped forward and took his place. Ben turned into a shape like the others. Still,
watching. We ran down the mountain.
Off the trail. Branches tore at us. Rocks slid under our feet. Behind us, footsteps followed. Careful. Patient. We reached the trail line just as the sun rose. The forest sounds rushed back all at once. Birds. Wind. Life.
The footsteps stopped. Only 3 of us came back. Rescue teams searched for weeks. They never found Ben. But they did find something else. At the summit,
A new figure. Standing slightly out of line. Still adjusting. Still learning how to watch. Sometimes when I see photos taken from that mountain, I count the silhouettes near the peak. And sometimes there's one more than there should be.